These are the voyages of the starship Wolfstern. Its mission: to rediscover lost worlds, to seek out their life and civilizations, to boldly go where one man has gone before. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Chaos Wolf here, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Now, it's been a long trip that I've been making on my way to find Planet Bob. And here we are, in one system where we see one familiar face. Hello, Mr. Black Hole. Now, for those of you that actually might remember this is actually the black hole that I found shortly before my ship detonated. So, it's been a while getting back here. But let's get a little closer, shall we, and see how close we can actually get to this thing. Because right now we're at about 2 megameters. So let's get a bit closer. We don't want to go too fast. So we're at 1 megameter, and now we're into the kilometers. Now you can actually see the gravitational lensing effect actually coming in, and the closer we get, the more you're going to be able to see it. Just look at that! Wow. Now we have actually got very close to this, and the ship has automatically dropped us out. Now, as you can see, our heat is rising a little bit, but it's not really going to get any higher than around about 52 degrees. So we'll get a little bit closer just to kind of be daring. Now just look at that. Now this black hole does look a lot different from the last time I was here. But I think it is because I am seeing this from the opposite side. Because I have actually jumped in, coming back rather than going to the core. But it's still an amazing sight for us to see. And let's not forget, there isn't just the black hole in this system. We do have this B-class star over here. And not just that, we do have another one off in the distance. But let's turn off the shield generator and the fuel scoop, just to make sure we don't overheat too much when we actually jump out into Super Cruise. So let's select the last star, and let's actually move. And let's get the hell out of here.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Whoa. That one was a little bit faster than the last one we were in. But I do have the feeling that this black hole we were at now is actually smaller than the last one we saw in the last episode. So let's turn the fuel scoop and the shields back on. Okay, so the last star in the system was actually a T-Towdy. But let's have a look at the map now. And as you can see, I actually just recently logged in, so I have everything not set to how I usually have this set here. So let's have a look at where we're going now. Right, this is our next port of call. So we've set it now that we've got the fastest route, and we're back set again to Star Class. Now, if you notice here, I can actually go and have a look in this system map. But it is only showing the main star in the system. Now, this is one of the systems I actually visited before my ship detonated. So I still, for some reason, technically have some of the scan data, but it is just like the main star and what's around that area. But what we're doing now is planning our next routes. I go back to where I was, have myself aligned with where I'm going, and then I find a point that's 1,000 light years away from where I'm going, or as close as damn it, really. So that's still a little bit too far away. So let's get a little closer. No, still a little too far away. I think this is going to be a bit too close now. Just a little bit. So let's look a little further away. Doopa-doopa-doo. Let's have a look at this one. That is pretty much fairly perfect. But let's see if we can find anything else. Because I would prefer to land on a G-class star preferably. But I guess this guy's just going to have to do. There we go. Now the route planet had a little bit of a spaz out, but very, very minorly there. But we are a good distance away from the core now, so that is really good. And what I like to do is actually just have a look along my route and just to see at what point I'll run out of fuel and whether or not I'll be able to refuel before there. And I'll have a look further along because I can make about 4 jumps, maybe 4 and a bit, before I'm fully out of fuel. But it does look as though I'm going to be able to make this trip without having to deviate from the route. And here we are at one of the stops along said route that I cannot actually scoop from. Now this is a brown dwarf system. And there's pretty much no point checking here, because look, this is a completely dead system. All these planets here are just going to be rocky, dead planets. So there's really no point sticking around here. So we're just going to move on to the next system.
2, 1, engage.
Now those systems do come up fairly often. And let's have a look as to why this may be. Now here we can see why this is I'm actually coming out into... I'm coming from the centre and I'm coming out into a little gap here. This gap here is basically the section where there is very little star density. And I've already moved past this nebula here, and this one is actually the nebula that I found that was completely unscanned the last time, but I really don't want to hang around too much because I really do need to get back fairly soon. But let's have a look and see how far away I am from my starting point now. Now I'm only 17,200 light years, all but the kicking and screaming. And a little bit closer to the Cubio system, where I actually have one of my ships actually docked. But there is another system that we want to go and visit. And this is the one that we are actually on the way to at the moment. It's the Chemis system. And the reason we're coming here is this is actually where the exploration community goal is actually being held. It's in this starport here, Mackenzie Relay. So I really need to get back as soon as I possibly can. But at the moment I'm not having as much time to play as I would like to. So I may end up that I cannot actually make it back in time. And if that's the case, then I'll just stay out longer. But look at this. We found something interesting in another system. This is actually one of the jumps along the same route. And that looks suspiciously like an Earthlike world. Whoops, I think we're coming a little bit too quick now. So I'm going to have to pull up, try and bleed off a bit of speed. But that's one of the problems, the only real problem of actually going out exploring in an Anaconda. Apart from the fact that it doesn't have the best heat dispersion out of all the exploration ships, but it's the fact that it doesn't handle so well in Super Cruise. But yep, that was actually an Earthlike world. So that is actually awesome. I'm going to have to think of a name for this one because I actually didn't kind of come prepared for this one. So what I'm going to have to do is go and hit Google and come up with something interesting. But I'm going to have to scan these other two, planetoids here. And these two are actually terraformable as well. So that's really cool. I went to scan the next one, but that wasn't actually terraformable, and neither was this one. But this one at the end was actually very interesting because that's actually an ammonia world. And it does seem like ammonia worlds don't need to be as close to the star as Earth-like worlds. And here we actually have a close-up look of that ammonia world. It looks very similar to an Earth-like world, apart from it just being a huge pellet swap. It looks like a cross between an Earth-like and a high metal content. But here we go. Here is that Earth-like world, and I think I'm actually going to call this the planet Montressa. Now, I'll give a gold star to anyone who actually can tell me why I've actually called it that. And here we are in one of the next systems. There's another G-class star, but have you noticed something about this system? Really? You haven't? I thought it was pretty obvious here. Pretty much every single planet, and even one of the moons, has a ring in this system. So this is pretty much the Lord of the Ring systems. But, as always, we need to move on because we have to make some good time. Now, what have we got in this system? Oh, this looks a bit familiar. If anybody's not actually aware, this is actually the last Earth-like world that I found before my ship detonated. And if you're also very good, this is the world that I actually dedicated to one of the Wolfpack members that was actually at Gamescom, who got me a one of the Gamescom Cobra skins. So this is actually Planet Heno. The one that I actually mislabeled Planet Hono before because I am so useless at this kind of thing. So yes, this is Planet Heno. So yes, we have found him again. So that is nice. Now the next one we have to go for is Planet Ben, if I remember correctly. It was either Bill or Ben. But there was something else in this system. Oh no, this is actually a different system. We actually found a terrestrial water world in one of the next systems, but for some reason it is not actually terraformable. Now I can't understand why that might be. Maybe it's already suitable for human habitation, I can't really tell. But I am actually going to go and have a scan of this one here and actually go and see if this one's terraformable itself. If it is, then great, and if it's not, then oh well. But here we go. This is the one closest to the star, and you can see that it wasn't terraformable, but this one here, the high metal content world, was terraformable. But it's actually got a silicate magma high metal content world. And I still can't understand why this one isn't terraformable. It's even got a nitrogen... Oh, it's got a nitrogen atmosphere. That might be something to do with it. Though I can't see as why. And just look at this system. Got a system with 2 A-class stars. We also have a G-class and an F-class. So these are some really nice stars. And this system has a good chance of having inhabitable worlds. And these two look very, very promising. So we're going to go and take a look at those after we get some fuel.
Fuel scooping.
Okay, so we're basically scanning the first one now, and let us see what it is. It's a water world. So here we go, and this one is terraformable. Now this one's a nitrogen atmosphere as well, yet this one is actually terraformable. I can't understand why the last one wasn't. So it's just a little less than a third of the size of our Earth. It's got no volcanism, it's got partially water atmosphere, but it's got a lot of oxygen. Perhaps the reason the last one was not terraformable is because it had very little oxygen. Whoops, I went a little bit too far around there. Well, let's actually go and have a look at this one. Now this one is another water world. And this one itself it has a moon, but it's also terraformable. So that's awesome as well. It's pretty much almost the same. But this is very nice, having two terraformable water worlds in one system. Now, these planets down here I could go and scan, but I have a feeling they're a little bit too far away than I'm actually willing to go and scan. And yeah, 33,000 light seconds, I can't be bothered right now because I know they're only going to be high metal content worlds. They might be terraformable, but I really want to go and keep to my time schedule. But anyway, that's pretty much enough for this video now. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It really does help my channel out. If you haven't already, please do hit that big subscribe button to join the Wolfpack. You will get notifications from whenever I release new videos. And also go and check out the links to all my affiliated channels. And until next time, Commanders, keep flying and stay shiny.